No, enough with the ranting, enough with the history lesson. This is what I think needs to be done. I watch a lot of videos. I see a lot of people complaining. However, they don't really offer solid, sustainable solutions. They're really quick to complain. For example, there's a lot of YouTube partners that make political videos, and they are the first ones to complain, but they rarely offer solutions. These are my solutions. Agree with them or not, fine. First of all, I think the first thing that we need to be tackling is the economy. Healthcare is bad, don't get me wrong, but I think the first and foremost thing is the economy. So, how do you get the economy back on track? First of all, you need to take that $1 trillion, basically everything that Obama has done. If you were to reverse that, we would be, personally, I think we would be on the path to prosperity. But, you know, a lot of people probably disagree, but that's fine. But if we were to take that $1 trillion stimulus and use it wisely, and whatever we don't use, hopefully we'd have an excess, is pay it back. Work on getting that huge loan paid down. That way we don't have to pay the huge interest. How do we get the economy back on track? Well, first of all, basically Obama's trying to run through the health care while he has a Democratic Congress, because he knows he's not going to have a Democratic Congress, in 2010. So he's trying to get his health care initiative passed. That way it's through. Well, Mr. Obama, I don't think we really need to be worrying about health care. I think personally we need to be focusing on the economy, trying to get people back to work. That way people don't lose their houses, etc., etc., and we don't slip any farther down than what we are. We have seen green shoots. We have seen the stock market go up a little higher, but it's mostly fraudulent and fake. It's a fake economy now. It's unsustainable. How do we get people back to work? Simple. Offer tax cuts, not tax cuts to corporations like Bush did. He said, well, we'll just give everybody tax cuts and let the rich keep their money. No. That didn't work, okay? That really didn't work. And at the same time, we can't punish them. We can't punish the rich and the CEOs and elites in this country and say, well, we'll just tax the hell out of you, and we'll just take your money and raise everybody up on social services. That ain't going to work either. What needs to happen is we need to give tax cuts to these companies. In turn, they provide jobs. The more they pay, the more jobs they pay, the higher incentive a tax cut they get. Now, while you're saying, well, you know, if we cut the taxes to the businesses, there'll be a void of tax revenue. But that's not really true, because we'll make up the tax revenue by the person that's employed. The thing about Canada is they have really high taxes, but they also have really good paying jobs. I don't mind if my taxes go up if I'm making $75,000 a year, okay? Because that's a lot better than making $20,000 a year. And then you're going to say, well, you know, places like Walmart and McDonald's, you know, if they really wanted to get a lot of tax cuts, they just offer their sorry ass dime a dozen jobs, minimum wage jobs. So they'll have a whole lot of them, and in turn they'll get their taxes cut. But that's not what I'm really talking about. We need to give these companies tax cuts for providing a job that's at a living wage. I'm not talking about minimum wage. I'm not talking about Walmart, because if we were to just tax cut them for providing jobs. You know there's going to be companies out there that are going to offer, that are just going to offer 100 jobs or whatever and just pay a minimum wage. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about good, solid jobs. I'm talking about making $12, $13 an hour with a 401k with benefits. If companies were to offer this, they would pay almost nothing percentage-wise in taxes. The more jobs, the more tax cuts. You want tax cuts? Fine. Provide us jobs. That would get everybody working again. Well, it wouldn't get everybody working again, but I think it would definitely help. You're not going to have, things will never be like it was before. It can't be. The problem is the American dream and the wealth has been outsourced. We don't make anything here anymore. In order to run a viable, prosperous economy that has all three, a lower, middle, and upper class, you need a manufacturing sector. And now we no longer manufacture anything. Basically what has happened is we've been taken back 50 years. We're right back to where we started in 1930s and 1940s. We no longer manufacture anything anymore. We no longer have a middle class. You can't operate an economy with just a lower and an upper class. Well, you can. It's called Mexico. But now that everything's been outsourced, all those great manufacturing jobs, and we don't make here anything anymore, well, that we're not going to have those jobs back. So I don't even know if the economy even can come back. I don't know where you're going to get the revenue stream from. You can't operate an economy just based on a financial sector, but that's where we are now. We have to face that reality head on. There are still jobs going to China. There are still products made in China, but we still have a lot of outsourcing. But I think most of the damage has been done. And we have to really come to that reality. I always tell people to buy American made. And that's the reason why. Is because somewhere, when you buy that knife, when you buy that John Deere lawnmower, when you buy that American made car, somewhere you're providing a job for someone. That's real important that you buy American made. Unfortunately, though, it's a little too late. Second part of my solutions is basically we need to let the country fail. That's a hard reality also, but it needs to be done. Because we need to audit the Federal Reserve. I know there's been bills going through. The Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, has almost more power than President Obama. Well, guess what? That needs to stop right now. They need to stop printing money out of thin air. We need to audit the Federal Reserve and back our money with something. Pay down the deficit. We'd pay down the deficit, audit the Federal Reserve, and go back to the gold standard. And you're going to say, oh, well, you're a caveman. Well, you know what? When I got $1,000 in my wallet, I want it to be worth something instead of what's it worth now, which is pretty much thin air.